morning, everyone. It's morning, 9 o'clock, March 20th. This is the 47th annual Carole Edwards and Friends, and a very unusual performance. We normally play to a whole audience of people, and this morning we're playing to an audience, I would say, of none, except it really is an audience of one, our cameraman. We're doing this obviously because it is just unhealthy to gather people together. So rather than not do the concert at all this year, we decided to do it in our home. Jackie and I share this house. This is our living room, and we started out doing it in our home 47 years ago, and it went through that on Staten Island, then going to the lake in our home, going to the Glebe here in our home. We used to seat 115 people in this space where we are now, and we want to continue to this tradition. So, all right, that first piece, obviously, you know, was the Star Spangled Banner. Since you don't have programs, we will announce the next piece is a quartet, 2 pianos, 8 hands. It's a piece by Moszkowski, a Polish composer, who wrote a set of Spanish dances. And the dances really are waltzes, 3/4 time. And this is Spanish dance number 4, Moszkowski, Opus 12, number 4. Thank you very much. All right, the next piece on the program is Hoedown. Aaron Copland wrote music for a ballet suite, and the ballet is called Rodeo, and this is the Hoedown, self-explanatory title. Exciting. You may notice these two grand pianos have the lids down. Normally in performance, the lids of the pianos are up. But because the space this morning is large but occupied by so few bodies, the sound would not be absorbed, and the sound with the lids up would be far, far too much. So that's why the lids are down. This is a 7-foot Steinway, and that's a 6'4" Boston. So the sound would be much too much if we had the lids up. All right, that was a very wild piece. So our next piece is more gentle. We try to keep the program varied. This is, Shirley's coming up. I really didn't even introduce you to everybody. Well, I guess You know who I am. I'm Carole Edwards and friends. And I mentioned that Jackie and I share this house together. I live in this cottage. Erica and Dean both live in Roanoke. They just played the Hoedown. And this is a piece by Joplin. And it's unusual in that it's a waltz. He did write 4 waltzes, not as well known as his other rag pieces. The pieces still have that syncopated rhythm, but it's very gentle, quiet, very different from what you just heard. This is called Athena, and it's called a concert waltz, meaning it is not intended to be danced to. It's just intended to be listened to. So even though you might have room to get up and dance, I suggest you just listen, because the tempos change, and that's why it's not considered danceable music. Okay, Athena. you very much. Yes. That was fun to play, a very different kind of sound.
We're going to be Polish.
You're going to be Polish now, the Krakowiak. I had asked the girls to play this Polish dance written by Moskowski, again. It happens to have been one of, actually, my father's favorite piece. His mother was born in Krakow, Poland, and this is based on a peasant dance from the city of Krakow in Poland, and the piece is called Krakowiak. indulging my passion for this piece. Now, the next piece, let me see. I need to have over there my readings. Thank you.
There you go.
Okay. You don't have programs, so I will explain what we're doing. Cezanne wrote a collection of pieces called Carnival of the Animals, in which he attempts to describe, using the pianos as a vehicle, and eventually there were orchestral versions of this as well, describing different animals. Last year the girls did 6 animals. This year they are doing 6 different animals. I will read a little poem prior to their playing each animal, and the descriptions were written by the American poet Ogden Nash. And they're kind of funny. Sometimes they use very strange words. All right, the first animal they're playing is the wild donkey, and this is what Ogden Nash wrote about the donkey. Have ever you harked to the donkey wild, which scientists call the onager? It sounds like the laugh of an idiot child or a hep cat on a harmonica. But do not sneer at the donkey wild. There is a method in his hee-haw, for with maidenly blush and accent mild, the donkey answers she-haw.
Okay.
Those are pretty wild donkeys, were they not? All right. The next animals are mules. This is a very short description. In the world of mules, there are no rules. In the world of mules, there are no rules.
That's it?
That's it. That sounded like a piece with no rules. All right, next is birds. Puccini was Latin and Wagner Teutonic, and birds are incurably Philharmonic. Suburban yards and rural vistas are filled with avian Andrew sisters. The skylark sings a roundelay. The crow sings the road to Mandalay. The nightingale sings a lullaby. And the seagull sings a lullaby. That's what shepherds listened to in Arcadia before somebody invented the radii. Next is the cuckoo in the wild. And this is a very brief poem. Cuckoos lead bohemian lives. They fail as husbands and as wives. Therefore, they cynically disparage everybody else's marriage. Surely you heard the cuckoo. All right, the next are fossils. At midnight in the museum hall, the fossils gathered for a ball. There were no drums or saxophones, but just the clatter of their bones. Rolling, rattling, carefree circus of mammoth polkas and mazurkas. Pterodactyls and brontosauruses sang ghostly prehistoric choruses. Amid the mastodonic wassail, I caught the eye of one small fossil. "Cheer up, sad world," he said and winked. "It's kind of fun to be extinct." Piece, The Swan. And most people, I believe, are familiar with this melody. The swan can swim while sitting down. For pure conceit, he takes the crown. He looks in the mirror over and over, and he claims to have never heard of Pavlova. this was really to be our final rehearsal. We were to give 5 performances next week of this program to audiences, live audiences. And because obviously of the coronavirus, the Glebe has wisely, as many other places, have limited groups of people, so we had to cancel all 5 concerts. And though people said, why not postpone it till when, we did not know. So that's why we decided this last rehearsal was going to be filmed, and however it comes out is however it comes out. But we're happy to be able to share it with as many of you as are able to enjoy it either on a DVD or on Facebook or however it's getting through. We also do have 4 furry audience members. We have 2 cats and 2 dogs who have been roaming around. Well, we have 1 cat taking a bath in front of the TV. We have another cat sitting on a chair. And we have 2 dogs who are resting somewhere. They are used to music in the house. So, so far so good. No meowing, no barking. So in case you happen to notice a creature go through, that's what it is. I do want to thank the others with me, obviously Jackie, with whom I share the house, Shirley, who is a Glebe resident as well, and Dean and Erica, who both are very active recitalists and accompanists in the Roanoke Valley and in other places, and perform everywhere and constantly, and we are very grateful that they we enjoy playing, having them in our group and playing with them, and we very much appreciate you giving your time and effort to putting this all together, even though this was kind of a last-minute makeshift kind of thing. So hopefully it is enjoyable to everyone who's listening. Now, the next piece, I said to Erica just a couple of weeks ago, I said, oh, this is Beethoven's 250th anniversary, and I don't have one piece on the program by Beethoven. And there's not a lot of 2 piano or quartet or trio pieces by Beethoven, but Erica really knows her way in and out of a computer and all that technological stuff. So she came up with a 2 piano version of the Turkish march from the ruins of Athens. And again, I think probably this is kind of an earwig. It's probably a melody, a theme that you've heard over the years and said, what is that? Well, it's the Turkish march from the ruins of Athens. again, realizing this is sort of improvisatory programming, you don't have programs. So I never gave the last names of these performers. Dr. Dean Vance, Erica Sipes, Shirley Fike, Jackie Werb, Carole Edwards. There's no written program, which you always have when you come to a concert. All right, this is from the Debussy Petite Suite. Dean and I have, there are 4 pieces in this collection, and we have done the first 3 in the last 3 years, and now we are doing the 4th one. There is no 5th one, so we'll have to find something else to do next year, which will not be difficult to find. Okay, this is called Ballet from the Petite Suite of Debussy, written for 1 piano, 4 hands. Debussy wrote this, no one else arranged it, he wrote it for 1 piano, 4 hands. It's a rather vigorous ballet. It's not a gentle one. You will hear it rather rhythmic. Oh, okay. You're okay? Yep. I think I am too. you very much. This is the final quartet. The waltz and chorus from Faust, the opera Faust. This is the famous scene from the opera, the waltz scene, the ball scene, the ballroom. And again, it may have a familiar ring to your ear. 2 pianos, 8 hands. I think you need to be close. was fun. That is such a fun piece to play. All right, we end as we traditionally end. Stars and Stripes Forever. This is our own concocted arrangement put together from various places.
We'll have to clap for ourselves.
Clap for ourselves, yes,
And
let's bow together. Yeah, this is certainly has been an experiment. We have no idea how this is turning out. We've never done this before. And hopefully our 48th year will be back to normal with live performances. And we thank everyone involved here. I don't know how, we just have to thank, we can't hug, we can't love and all that stuff. But anyway, we thank you for doing what you did, and may everybody stay healthy. And I thank Minuet, Kazoo, Tinkerbell, and Diva for being very good audience members, never meowing or barking.